Curious to hear music by Lunar Composition Lab alums? Check out E4TT's annual concert of music by women and non-binary composers, Midnight Serenades, on Saturday, January 25th. Welcome to For Good Measure, an interview series celebrating diverse composers and other creative artists, sponsored by a grant from the California Arts Council. I'm Nanette McGuinness, Artistic Executive Director of Ensemble for these times. In this week's Lunar Module episode, we continue talking to E4TT Lunar Composition Lab Call for Scores winner and commissioned composer Madeline Clara Cheng, who we spoke to in May 2024. You've kind of talked about what being a composer means to you and what draws you to it, but would you like to expand on that or talk more?
Yes, of course. So I feel like as a composer, you're really in a unique position where it's primed for creativity and collaboration. You get a really special look into the behind the scenes of it all. It's this cool intersection where you get to work with performers inherently. Like you have to be workshopping your piece, you have to be working with them, especially on new collaborations and new commissions where you want to make sure it's something that they enjoy playing as well.
Yes,
Um,
thank you.
yes, exactly. You get to work with arts administrators, with venue managers, conductors, ensemble managers, everyone who's part of like getting to make this happen. And you get to work, of course, with so many other creatives who are part of the bigger picture, especially I'm in a lot of the theater spaces as well, especially at my school. I'm really into a lot of interdisciplinary work. So it happens to be that you have to work with people who do like the scenic design, people who stage manage. It kind of all plays together in this bigger artistic picture, especially when you're doing a lot of the interdisciplinary work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or I got to work with some dancers this year, and it wasn't what I first expected, which was more you write a piece and they choreograph to it. We were both basically writing the piece together, even though they didn't have a ton of musical background, they had a lot of creative input into the
Mm-hmm.
music. And in turn, when they got to choreograph, I got to watch them be like, oh, but I feel like, this, like, I really like to see this part of the music hit a little bit more. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a truly collaborative process. Same deal when I got to work with an animator, with a film director for the first
Mm-hmm.
time, scoring their piece, and she had so much musical intuition, and it's so fascinating to see how different artists approach music and how they listen to it because they all describe it in such different ways, and it's fun. They use a lot of metaphors, a lot of things that are more familiar to them, but
Mm-hmm.
it's very exciting to create that work. And when especially when creating music and creating pieces meant for live performers, you're just creating this living, breathing piece. And I think that writing music or creating any art really is such a meaningful way to make impactful work that, lives on long after you're gone.
That's beautifully put. Given your dance background and how much you enjoyed that process, do you see maybe writing more pieces for dance or for dancers?
I would really love to. The lovely dancers that I got to work with this semester, they're immediately like, okay, we gotta do this again. This is so much fun. And we're thinking of ways where we can make the piece that we spent all semester on,
Right.
continue to live on, and seeing what more we can do with our creative minds. I've been looking into other opportunities for how I can get involved with other, cross art collaboration spaces. And there's a few really cool opportunities at my university that I'm really excited to potentially be a part of in the future. So I don't want to say that I am certainly doing things because I don't know for sure if, the application was a success or not, but fingers crossed. I'm so excited that either way I'll make sure to make things happen. I'm actually this one I can say I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
and this one means a lot to me because my sister is like a birder, or someone who is like really, really interested in birds and knows a lot about them.
Right.
She goes like on like walks a lot where she can like point out every single bird. We have this thing where I will find a random bird just like on the street, and I'll send her like a picture of it, and within a minute she'll tell me which bird it is to,
Mm-hmm.
to prove that she knows. So she's very passionate about ornithology and about conservation of the environment. And there's a student at my school right now who is also into that space, and she's also in the music school. So for her capstone project, she wants to do this really cool interdisciplinary collaboration, which is between like music and visual artists and dancers and performers. So she asked if I wanted to be a part of that as a composer. And specifically, this would be for um, like endangered North American birds. So I
Mhm.
get to pick a bird and I get to like write a piece based off of its bird song and its story and maybe the environment
Mhm.
that it lives in. So I'm really excited to get into that. I'll be also working on that this summer along with the commission for your ensemble. So I'm excited. Um, but that one will be a like professionally recorded thing with all the dancers and artists who are working on that project. And that one will be, I believe, like screened in several different like schools in the area to teach them about environmental conservation. So I'm really excited about that.
That's nice. There's some birders in my in-laws family, so I know that passion. Now, do you think you're going to use any fixed media like the actual bird calls?
I'm thinking of that. At first I was thinking of, like famous composers like Messiaen like to
Yeah.
incorporate the very bird-like sounds with
Hmm.
their performers. I certainly think that would be um like almost a given to incorporate, but I think it'd be very cool to have the authentic sound of what it's like as well, and having that sort of interplay and interaction between the two.
Yes, Stephanie Neumann, my co-producer, who is also a composer, does a lot of work with fixed media. And when she wrote a piece for us a couple of years ago, a lovely piece, it involved fixed media. So that can be very interesting.
For sure.
Going back to your interest in dance and working with dancers, we have a piece coming up in 2025 that might be of interest to you by Han Lash. Han
Cool.
is, yeah, composer, harpist, and dancer. And the piece will have Han dancing and writing the music. So,
Wow, that's so awesome.
yeah, yeah, we're really excited. That's going to be April of 2025. So you can keep an eye out for that.
Sure.
Um, yeah. What year of school are you in? Remind me.
I just finished my sophomore year.
Got it. Got it. And that's USC.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Very
Oh,
nice.
good
So,
memory.
yeah, yeah. So obviously, you have your internship this summer, you have the sophomore in college, and past that, who knows, right? Or do you have any
Yeah.
thoughts beyond? Yeah, who knows?
I mean, I have, so much so much ahead of me. Um And I think I have like a bit of an issue when it comes to like having a future orientation where I think like I almost think so like a little too far ahead in the future and
Hmm.
I just worry about all these details that I can't control. And everyone I say that to tells me to stop doing that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I know it's not good for me. But I have to remember that I don't think anyone really knows exactly what they're doing. So it's okay to like, take a second and breathe and remember that I'm not, behind in the game or anything like that.
You're not behind in the game. And I will say that for most creative people who are goal oriented, the big goal is clear. The immediate where we are is clear. The messy middle, like in a novel, those details and how to get from A to Q, totally messy. So you're
Yes,
not
of
behind.
course.
So not only are you not behind, I think you're in great shape, and this is very normal. So, I mean, just from my perspective.
Thank you for listening to For Good Measure, and a special thank you to our guest, Madeline Clara Cheng, for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast by clicking on the subscribe button and support us by sharing it with your friends, posting about it on social media, and leaving us a rating and a review. To learn more about E4TT, our concert season online and in the Bay Area, or to make a tax-deductible donation, please visit us at e4tt.org. This podcast is made possible in part by a grant from the California Arts Council and generous donors like you. For Good Measure is produced by Nanette McGuinness and Ensemble for These Times and designed by Brennan Stokes, with special thanks to co-producer and audio engineer Stephanie M. Neumann. Remember to keep supporting equity in the arts and tune in next week for Good Measure.